This is Melbourne. These are massive monsters. Cult of the Lamb! We were doing high fives. We need to do a really nice, sharp, crisp high five.
Okay.
As the clap.
Oh! Yeah!
Ready?
Oh, okay.
It's a bit high pitch.
Yeah,
you try and go for a low
yeah.
pitch. Massive Monster created a game you may have come across called
Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb. Massive Monster, how did it come into existence?
Yeah, Massive Monster, it came out of the ashes of the Flash games thing. Yeah.
What Flash game
Flash
stuff?
games, yeah. So that's kind of how we met. So we all made Flash games independently, and then we kind of got to know each other through the scene, and I was kind of a fan of the two other guys as well before I met them as well.
Really?
Yeah, so when I first met them, I was a bit like starstruck. I'm like, oh my God, it's Jim and Julian, oh my God. But now I'm completely over that.
How did you actually forge that initial connection?
Yeah, I think it was me. I just put up a screenshot. I'm like, you know, I'm an artist looking for a programmer, you know, I want to make this game or whatever, and had a little screenshot of it. And then, yeah, Jay liked it for some reason, so here we are.
So we met at an event in London, Muckley, London. Him and Julian had made a game called Super Adventure Pals, which is a Flash game, which did really well, and I really loved it. It's kind of like Adventure Timey vibes, and there was networking at the end, and like bought him a beer, and I was like, this is for a Super Adventure Pals, like I love your game, and he was like, oh my God, I love your games too, and we just like hit it off. So cool. Just sort of fell in love. And then I kind of met Julian through Jay because they'd made Super Adventure Pals and other stuff. But yeah, then it got harder and harder to make money with Flash games because the iPhone came out and people stopped sort of playing desktop games really.
Steve Jobs decided that Flash wasn't going to go onto Apple's iOS, so it just bottomed out overnight. I think we were going from like getting a deal for like $20,000 for a game to like $2,000 like a month later.
Killed it.
It killed like overnight. It was mad. So we decided to like club together and work on bigger console games.
We decided to start a company, and that was how Massive Monster was born.
Was it a conscious decision that you would all have names beginning with J?
Yeah, and all 6'3". That was like a hard line that we would not cross.
It was a big transition. It was kind of going from spending a couple of weeks to a month to maybe a couple of months on a game to 3 years on a game, because we were going from making a game that was free for people to play to something that people want to pay $20 for or whatever. So you had to, you know, has to be much bigger, has to be higher production value. So that was a shock to say the least. You know, Adventure Pals did well enough, but I think after a few years it kind of, you know, was petering out. Yeah, it was tough. So we were kind of like, let's give it one more shot. And the three of us just focused on this one game. And it's got to be good, because if it's not, like, we're fucked.
What was the inception of Cult of the Lamb?
You know, looking at different demographics, what's popular on Steam. And I think Jay did have the idea of kind of genre mashing. So kind of, I think we saw it in Moonlighter and a few other games, and kind of even like Stardew Valley a little bit, where you kind of go into the dungeon to like go down the mines or whatever. Kind of this two different sides of gameplay that's kind of connected up together. So that was the like core idea, but then it's like, how do we like theme that? How do we turn that into something?
So we always knew that we wanted you to have like a base building side, being responsible for a group of people, trying to make the NPCs like interesting in a game rather than just like flat characters. So that gameplay loop was the beginning of it.
Right.
I think that came up like the Flash game way of doing things, of like, oh, here's the loop, now let's build on top of it kind of thing. And it just took us ages. We came up with like, oh, maybe you build your own hell, but Jim and Julian's art is just so cute that like you never wanted to do anything evil to the followers. And then we just tried a bunch of stuff, and it was like 9 months of us just arguing until we came across the cult thing. And then when we got that, it sort of all kind of fell into place.
And I was just really into a lot of the cult stuff at the time. Just a lot of horror movies. Suspiria, like the new one. I mean, Midsummer is a movie about a cult. So yeah, that was a really obvious one. But it was really interesting, that idea as well of that, where it's visually communicated very lovely with all these flowers, which we basically just copied. You know, devil worship and satanic rituals. So yeah, I thought I'd maybe suggest something in those lines.
And that's why you ended up living in a church.
Oh hey, Devolver, how's it going? Welcome to the home of Cult of the Lamb, my church.
Do you have anywhere in here where you can actually perform rituals?
Yeah, this is where it happens.
Hello, followers. We gathered here today to praise the good word of man.
The whole cult thing wasn't the initial idea, was it?
No, yeah, there was like 3 different other ideas. There was a love like squabbling on like the idea.
We would like explain the game, oh, you're like a previous ideas, like you're like a lost god on the back of a flying whale, and you'd see people's eyes just glazing over. They're just like, I don't understand this.
Lost God on the back of a flying whale. Was that really one of the ideas?
Yeah, that was one of the ideas. We did like a trailer for it and stuff. And then we're like, oh, you make your own cult. And people are like, oh, I get that. So that's such an important thing, is like having that, explain it in a sentence. Sort of marketing first almost. Like, is this a catchy idea that people can like understand straight away?
Yeah.
That's such a big, important part of it.
We knew we needed a really strong character. It was Julian that came up with the idea of the lamb, and I think when we landed on the idea of start your own cult, and they had obviously very clear like religious connotations, you know, the sacrificial lamb, and Jesus is referred to the lamb, and I think it just seemed like an obvious choice.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was the one that drew it, so yeah.
You drew the first lamb.
I drew the lamb, you know, it was my idea. Jim, you know, he drew a lamb, but it didn't, you know, didn't have the same vibe to it.
You drew a lamb, but it wasn't the lamb.
Yeah, so that was, I drew the lamb and I just stopped drawing anything else.
It's definitely the right choice. But we kind of bounced ideas a lot for the design and kind of iterated it and spent a lot of time just sort of tweaking the horn sizes and the face shapes and just really trying to make it as iconic as possible. And, you know, we wanted to make something that people will cosplay, and there's lots of cosplay.
Seems to have worked.
I think as well, the signing of Devolver was always like a dream publisher for us. Like, we had a list of all the publishers we wanted to work with. Devolver was literally at the top, like #1 choice. So that was real fuel. Yeah, just buried our heads in it and iterated it, and were brutal with each other about telling each other what was good and what wasn't good, and just throwing stuff away. We chucked away so much work, but in the end, it turned out well and it was worth it. But it's so painful kind of staying up till 2 a.m. working on something all week and then deciding at the end of the week that you just need to get rid of it and do it all again, take a different direction.
We reached out to you guys. We were like, they're never gonna take our call. Like, it's never gonna happen. Let's just shoot an email just in case. Yeah, you guys like come to us yourself, like, yeah, it's all good. We're a bit busy now. And then the next day, actually, we want to talk to you tomorrow. And then by Friday, we had the deal.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. There's a poop. Poop! I got a poop!
Right, so you started making this game. You had your loop, you had your lamb, you had your cult, and then we had COVID.
Yes.
What did that do to the whole process?
There was nothing else to do but work on the game. Basically, we were locked up at our computers all day and night. We couldn't go anywhere. So it meant that we worked on it a lot. But it also meant that no one had played the game like until it came out. So we had no idea if people were going to hate it or love it, or we just didn't have a clue. In the past with our previous games, we'd go to events, we'd watch people play it all weekend, make notes and like, okay, they like that, change this, let's like improve that bit, give this ability. But with this, we just made it like in the dark, essentially.
What was the feeling when you were bringing that game out on the cusp of release?
I think it was a lot of stress and a lot of fear, and because you also, when you making indie games, like your career, your financial future, everything is like in the balance. But our previous games have flopped. So we always plan for our games not to make any money, just so that you're prepared for that. We did Steam Next Fest before the game came out, and there's like 3 categories, and we put the demo out and we were the top category all week on all 3 categories. So that was like, oh, maybe people like this. Like, we've definitely punched above our weight in terms of what we've created versus how many people were on the team.
What was it during the core phase of development? There was you 3.
Narayan, our musician, Riverboy, he's amazing. He came on board like right at the beginning as well.
How did you approach trying to make music for the game then, when you weren't even sure what it was yet?
They had some bits that were like, okay, there's going to be this like biome crawling section.
Right.
Go just fucking throw things at the wall, just try a bunch of stuff and send them to them. They also sent me a bunch of references, and I'd send them stuff, and then they would like give me feedback, and then I would go away, try it again, and then they'd give me more feedback. And it was a lot of that at the start. Something kind of clicked. I think it was like maybe I made Start a Cult, like one of the bass tracks. And it was just like, oh, this is this game. Like, it just really was like, oh, this is the sound. I'm always searching for that, like, okay, what's that sound that I haven't really heard before or done in a way that is different, or I'm always trying to like find that. And so I think it's just like me trying to do that, but within the context of like, okay, this is when you're like fighting a cult leader, or this is when you're like tending to your followers. So when I knew it was like an occult, I'm a really, really big fan and have been like forever of a group called The Knife. and a group called Fever Ray. It's this very like beautiful, haunted, like sensitive, kind of like an earthly drive to it as well.
Yeah.
I thought the game would do well because I thought it was a sick game. I mean, you can't expect a game to do as well as that. Like it's an anomaly, you know?
Yeah. We're getting your music out to
Yeah.
a ton of people who wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah, I mean, the soundtrack, I think, like in total has like 15 million plays at the moment. So it's like a lot of people are listening.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
When you made the game, there was the three of you and like Narayan who made the music,
Yes.
and Harrison came on as well.
Yeah.
And that's like tiny little team. And then suddenly the game's out and you're like 14 people.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that all about?
Well, you know, I think we were like all just working ridiculous hours for a start. You know, we have a community manager and a social media person who's like, those guys are incredible.
I'm here with Josie,
Hello.
who is the demon behind all the furious chaos you may have witnessed on Twitter. And yes, I'm still calling it Twitter.
I got the job on a New Year's party. Julian was like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm not doing anything. And he's like, want a job? And then the rest of the directors were like, why are you just hiring people at parties? And it kind of worked out.
What was the brief when you started doing Twitter for Cult of the Lamb?
The boys just don't reply. So I just kept posting what I like.
Until someone went, Josie, can I have a word?
Yeah, look, if I get one thumbs up,
Yeah.
it's posted. It's done.
Happy
it's out
days.
there. I just want to make people laugh most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I did when I was streaming. I did comedy-based stuff. I'm always trying to think of like an angle that is a funny way of saying something. So like I want to find a way where it's like more interesting.
What was the latest big furore that you caused?
I said we're going to delete the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're at PAX, by the way.
Yeah.
PAX Australia.
Oh,
We had an exciting encounter earlier
yeah.
with a gentleman.
He said it. I made him cry.
Don't delete my game. I love that game.
I said it made me cry with laughter. Yeah, I actually don't have any emotions, so you know. We got so many messages. I was like getting a little stressed. Like so many people were crying.
Yeah. What's your next big set piece?
Set piece.
What have you got for us?
Secrets.
Oh, come on.
No, we got
Give
an
me
update.
something.
No, we got an update coming.
Have you got something really foul in your armory?
I always have stuff foul. I am foul. No, I've got some stuff, but we're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to
No one
talk
tells me anything. So this is the programming team du jour
Yeah,
of Massive Monster.
yeah.
We have
responsible for the
Anthony
bugs.
here,
Yeah, Harrison.
and we have Harrison here. But you're separated by many millions of miles.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean,
thank God.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in England. I'm in Warwick in England.
Yeah.
But I've sort of like gravitated to sort of like working Australian hours.
So you're pretty much nocturnal at this stage.
Yeah, I wait till Harrison gets on at like 11 p.m. and then we can just resume our coding friendship.
Do you sleep with the laptop under your pillow?
No,
Waiting for me.
I just lied on top of my wife next to me, sort of like.
Oh, really?
I've never thought I would have made a game where people actually played it, let alone millions. So, you know, keep playing it.
Yeah.
The update, plenty more. Plenty
The update.
more.
More to come, right?
Plenty more stuff
I mean,
to come.
the updates we've done so far are they're so huge in terms of updates. It's like when I first came on, I was like, is this like part of like some like paid DLC or something?
Right.
It's adding another like 12 hours onto the game or something.
Oh, yeah.
And
Minuscule.
they're like, no,
It's all free.
it's all
Oh, yeah.
free.
Zia, what do you do?
I'm a producer at Massive Monster.
A producer, I think the producer you'll find.
I'm the producer.
Yeah. So what does that involve?
JT,
Yes.
have you ever tried to bath a cat?
No.
Have you ever tried to bath 12 cats at once?
Okay. So that's what's happening. That's your life now.
I love it. I
Everyone's
love
like,
cats. Exactly. Get it. No, you get it.
holding
No,
them
get
down.
back in. Yeah.
Stop wriggling.
I'm trying to help you.
We've had the one big update.
Yeah, relics of the old faith.
Then we've had the Don't Starve.
Yeah, crossover.
Crossover.
Recently, that was great.
Then there's the current update.
Sins of the flesh.
Sins of the Flesh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that one.
Yeah.
And what's next?
And then we'll see. We don't know. We don't know.
Do you really not know?
No, we've got ideas, but we don't know.
How long do you think this universe can keep growing for?
Good question. I think there's a couple more games in that world.
Right,
yeah.
more full games.
I think there's a lot more you could do with it. There's a lot of characters that people really love that you could explore more.
Probably cash in on a quick Cult Survivors.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
What do you think?
Sign it.
Sure.
You saw it right here.
There is a lot of Cult of the Lamb stuff happening in Melbourne this week?
We have quite a few things lined up, so we're kind of taking over the city of Melbourne. One of the things we're doing is an orchestra performance, so we're taking the soundtrack of the game and then it's getting composed for an orchestra or whatever. Doing that with Narayan, our composer, aka Rib Boy. We're doing this live performance in Federation Square, which is kind of like the main entertainment space in Melbourne. Doing like projection mapping all over the building there. Doing a kind of live performance with like a 3-meter puppet and a bunch of like smaller puppets around. Have a collaboration with Golden Scissors Puppets, who make a lot of like weird, kind of messed up puppets. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then we're also at PAX Australia with Devolver, who are doing a lovely booth for us. Shout out to JR. But then I've also, with Massive Monster, we put on like a little pop-up showcasing some of our friends' games and have had quite a few events around that as well. So it's been a busy week.
Narayan, River Boy, that's the end of your run this week.
Yeah.
Feels like it was a bit of a moment.
It was special. It was really special. I was having such a nice time. I was just closing my eyes, just like kind of listening to it all, thinking like, this is fucking so special what has happened. And like hearing all these incredible musicians playing this music that I wrote is just like, yeah, I'm blissing out.
I have to say the highlight for me was dancing behind you when you were playing the flute.
Oh yeah.
This is a close second.
Hearing it as a live orchestra, seeing it as a ritual with puppets and everything. I mean, Acme and all the people that helped us with it put so much work into it, but it was better for it because we can create something we wouldn't normally do. We already did orchestra and ritual, like what's next?
Well, next, the world, surely.
Praise the Lamb, praise the Lamb, praise the Lamb, praise the Lamb.
Here with JoJo.
Hello. I started as like a games writer where I like did a lot of item descriptions, some NPC dialogue and things like that. I've been able to do a bit of like story structuring, narrative designing. I've designed some quest lines.
I've heard that you have single-handedly been stringing together all their chaotic bullshit into something a bit more coherent.
That's not how I would say it.
Is this true?
Vaguely. They're so creative and they're so good at what they do, and they're so chaotic. So like they made all of this stuff and I was just like, okay, how does it all connect to each other? So it was a really, really fun job to come in and be like, okay, well this bit can go here and that's why this happens and all that kind of stuff.
Once you've fully formed that universe, then you can take it in all kinds of different places, right?
Yeah.
Animated series, for example?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think the like design of the world just screams for an animated TV show.
Is there anything that you would like to see the lamb on that it hasn't actually appeared on yet?
I mean, the main thing is, I want the TV show. So it was like, maybe that's happening. Maybe we're working on it. Maybe it's not happening at all. I don't know.
We've kind of made something that's now living on beyond kind of what we'd imagined. And artists so much more talented than me are kind of drawing these characters and kind of giving them a life of their own. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. What's the last year been like?
Pretty cool.
Yeah?
Good.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm just still fucking working on it. Not much has changed really, We've grown the team, so we're in the position now where we're able to kind of get more people on to help us and get some more really awesome people to help. And we just want to keep working on the game and growing it and just not be killing ourselves, doing everything ourselves.
It's been crazy and it's been so nice to just like share a lot of that success with other people. Thinking about ways like, how can I help other people get to a similar position I've been able to get to.
We're here a little bit after a year since the launch of Cult of the Lamb, and it's a freight train.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. I think we were really lucky. We had like a lot of people reach out to us who've had big games and be like, you're gonna feel this. This is what's gonna happen to you.
Okay.
Just be aware of this kind of thing. Because also when you finish a project, there's sometimes like a sense of loss as well, because it was like such a big part of what you did every day. But luckily, like we're still working on it, so that's not a problem.
You're actually happy to still be working on a game that you've been working on for the last 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. Much more Cult of the Lamb to come.
You heard it here second.
Yeah, that's right. I think it feels like 5 years this last year, just because so much has changed and like so many, like the team's bigger and we're still working on the game, and like our lives have gotten better as well because we've had you know, recognizable, successful game. So now, you know, when we see family and things, they've heard of it and they're like, oh wow, you know.
Yeah,
whereas
so
before
they finally understand what it is you do.
Yeah, exactly. Before it'd be like, that guy Jay, I think he makes video. I don't know what that means. Incredible year, and there's so many like cool things like in the works that, and like just having like action figures and, you know, real physical versions of things from the game. Like I just got my Knucklebone set and like just things like that, which you just kind of never think is going to happen. It's just so cool. It's hard to keep up with all the cool stuff that's like happening around the game. It's hard to take it all in, to be honest. But yeah, not complaining at all. It's been awesome.
Massive Monster!
Me and my friends would just mess around and make beats and then try and rap on them. Oh, okay, want to hear it? It's bad.
Yeah,
it's
let's
fucking
do it.
bad.
Let's do
All
it.
right, I went, it was like Aussie hip hop and we won't stop till you drop. Thinking you're hot and now you know you're not. Can't stop. Skills what we got and we got a lot. Can't stop. Mate, you better have bought this from a CD shop. Yeah.
Oh boy!
that was a hit.
What a banger.